Okay, so remember, get those to me, please, as soon as you can, so that I can make sure everybody gets their college credit. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to it. If you didn't have these notes because you were gone yesterday, for instance, you're going to want to get these from the important documents page, the Frailty of Empire. We already took a look at some of the causes, but we went through them really quickly in the last few minutes of class, so I just want to make sure that you guys are understanding exactly what starts this Peloponnesian War. So we'll start with a couple of leading questions here for you. So, what do you think? What were the primary causes of the Peloponnesian War? Alex.
Pericles at one point decided that they were not going to give in to anything Sparta said, because that would sort of be like appeasement.
Indeed. Now, why is Sparta so angsty, though? Go back a little further. Why is Sparta so angsty? All right, they don't have a navy. That's a big thing. And so their empire is land-based, definitely, because that's where their army can go. Nels, another one? Their trade is lacking. Definitely. Athens is raking in the money. What's a good indication, by the way, of Athens raking in the dough right now? Pottery. Pottery. Yeah? And what else, though?
Parthenon.
The Parthenon, exactly, on top of the Acropolis. What else have they built that's really pissing off the Spartans? The walls. All right, good. Alex, what else?
Corinth threatened to leave the Peloponnesian League if someone does.
Yes, exactly, because who is the little minuscule power that is being pestered by these bullies of the Aegean? Who is being pestered? What? Megara, you're right. All right, so the Megaran debate. Remember, Megara, they're an ally of Sparta and Corinth. And they keep saying, hey, these bullies of the Aegean, Athens, keep pushing us around. What are you going to do? And Sparta's like, ugh. And then, what does Corinth say? So everyone can hear, because some of them weren't ready.
If we don't declare war on Athens, we will leave the Peloponnesian League.
Yes! So at that time, Sparta's like, well, we gotta. It's absolutely mandatory. We have to. We can't start losing face with losing our military glory. So, what advantages, though, does Athens and the Delian League possess as we start this war? They've got the naval power, they've got the access to the sea, you can trade. Athens is looking pretty good here for a 27-year campaign in the event that they can hide behind their walls, use their navy. They've got some good stuff going. They've got hoplites too, right? All right, but what do the Corinthians, Spartans, and the Peloponnesian League possess? Oh, they've got the forces with the rippling abs, don't they? Oh, they're ready to fight. Okay, so the Peloponnesian War, I'm going to take you through some scenarios here and see what you learned from your reading. Let's see what you can remember about the Peloponnesian War. So you, in your study groups, are going to sit together and be divided up so that you get to decide what can save or doom your city-state. So after weighing the problems and options, choose the best course of action and then elect one of your representatives from your ecclesia to present to us what you think we should do. Okay? So then you will be awarded points for the most historically accurate answers. You might recall some of this from last year, right? Yeah. All right. So choose wisely. What? Doesn't matter. Whatever's most historically.
If we win, do we get extra credit?
No, but you get pride, which is so much better. Right? Put that on your resume. I won in the Peloponnesian War debates. And maybe the Plato debate coming up. All right, so get into your study groups if you're not already sitting with those people. Go ahead. Options are coming.
Get out. Get out. Get out. Give us a group, Pancras. Don't get out.
All right. This is going to start a war. This is going to start a war. One of you. All right. They have the walls. Oh, dude, that's done. There you go. They got you. They got you. All right, are we ready? Yeah, are we ready? All right, here comes the first one. Get ready. First Peloponnesian War issue for you. So the year is 433. The year is 433, and while we have a tenuous peace with Sparta, we are Athens right now, the city of Corcyra, a Corinthian colony and member of the Peloponnesian League, is trying to break away from Corinthian rule. The Corcyrans have requested Athenian support. What do you propose we do? Do we want to prepare the hoplite forces and invade across the isthmus of Corinth to attack? Do we send emissaries to Corinth and Sparta to find a peaceful solution, or send a navy of 10 ships, to support the Corcyraeans if the Corinthians attack? I know, it's such a good song. That's fine. Oh, it's so hardcore, isn't it? Oh, I love it. All right, so what do we think? Who wants to start? Yes, your group. What do you think?
We're gonna send 10 ships to the Corcyraeans.
Okay. Why?
Well, we sort of want to start weakening the Peloponnesian League because we're expanding rapidly. We want to. We don't necessarily want to attack them directly. We want to start asserting some power here and there whenever we can.
I see. All right, group over there. What do you think?
We think that the isthmus would be a great place to send 10
Okay. All right, so you're going to go with the isthmus.
Oh, you're saying 10 ships?
Go back.
No.
No.
We're gonna send the Navy.
All right, you're sending the Navy. Ah, so you're not doing option 1. You're doing option 3.
Yeah.
All right, just clarify. Okay, same reasons.
Yeah.
Okay, start weakening the Peloponnesian League. What do you guys think?
We're also going to send 10 ships.
10 ships.
Because we think attacking Spartans head on is bad. Because they're pretty.
Yeah, absolutely. No need for a preemptive strike against them. Group, what do you think? All right. Oh, I like it. Okay, did you hear that quote over here? That's a great quote. Let's hear it again. Yeah. All right, I like it. Okay, groups over here. Yeah, I couldn't tell who's who though.
So it was decided that basically, you have a hundred of everything's a nail. Well, if you have hundreds of really nice hammers, you're gonna go shoot some nails.
Okay.
We're sending 10 ships.
Sending 10 ships as well. Okay, you guys can do it differently, or are you going?
No.
Also sending 10 ships. You're all right! Hey! All right! So, lightsaber for you. Please don't turn it on, though. Way too distracting. There you go. You want the Nerf sword instead?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yes, here we
Here you
go.
go. Yes, very nice. Yeah, there you go. All right. Oh, full lightsabers. Let's see if you can keep those lightsabers. All right. So the next one. Let's see what you do with this next situation facing Athens on this occasion. All right. So the year is 431, and after a string of minor battles between Athens and allies of Sparta. Oh, by the way, I didn't tell you about what happened with the battle. Yeah. So they sent their 10 ships, right, with specific orders: do not attack unless the Corcyraeans themselves are attacked by the Corinthians. But the Corinthians, with fewer ships than the actual navy of Athens, but remember, they're only sending 10. They're only sending 10. So it's just kind of like a show of force, saying don't mess with us and don't mess with our soon-to-be ally. What's going to happen to the Corcyraeans? The Corinthians, what are they going to do? They're going to attack. They will attack and destroy those Corcyraean ships, despite the fact that the Athenians are there, and then turn on the Athenians. The Athenians are going to have to send for support, asking for more ships, because the Corinthians are going to completely destroy the Corcyraeans, murdering them even as they're swimming away from their ships in the water. It was awful. Thucydides said they were butchered. Oh, Thucydides. Socrates, who lived through all of this stuff, gives us some good tales. All right, now back to this one. The year is 431, and after a string of minor battles between Athens and the allies of Sparta, the city of Thebes, which is a Spartan ally, has invaded Plataea, an Athenian ally. This attack is the first one that actually threatens out Athens' walls, and the Spartans are whipping themselves into a fighting frenzy, preparing for war, which doesn't mean good things for anybody unless you're Sparta. So, what do we do? Send a fleet to attack Sparta in a preemptive attack, make an alliance with Macedonia and prepare for war, attack the Thebans, and hope that Sparta will remain neutral. What do you think? Alright, you ready? Yeah? Ready? Good? Good? Alright, good? Yeah, you guys all ready? Alright, good! So, let's see what you do! Alright, we'll start with this group over here. What would you do? Dose. Make an alliance with Macedonia to prepare for war. Okay. By the way, you guys don't have your books open right now, do you? Alright, no books open, just to make sure. Alright, because I forgot to mention that earlier in the notes. So, you're going with dose? Okay. What are you guys going to do? You're going to go with dose? What are you guys going to do? Dose? Group? Dose? Dose?
We're saying three.
Oh, good! Alright, someone's going to do something different. Why?
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, we have an immediate problem, so
Yeah.
we need an immediate answer. Never mind politics. We've got to address the Plataean problem right
And
now.
can you really trust the horse lover Macedonians?
Here.
They're untrained, really. These guys are barbarians, right? Ah, that's true, and they're pretty good with their horses, aren't they? Alright, so unfortunately, you guys are wrong! Oh no! Everybody else is right! Oh no! Led astray! Oh good, I'm glad someone picked that up. Alright, so they are going to make a hasty alliance with the Macedonians, those barbarian horse lovers, knowing that they need some help, because you're right, you're fighting Sparta. You need someone to help you. Alright, so the Athenians trying that one, and it's going to be rough. So what Pericles is going to do is send out a call to all of his Athenian people saying that we can win this. Alright, it's more than just a war. It's something bigger than that. So you guys read the funeral oration already from Pericles, but he's going to give us some cool things in there that we haven't covered yet in this class. So, first of all, he's talking about Athenian freedom. Alright, how is this different from any other place, including in Sparta? How is it different what we're fighting for today?
You're fighting for yourself.
Yeah, you're fighting for yourself, for your family, for your freedom, for your land, for the vote, for democracy, you name it. You're fighting for the demos. You're not fighting for, unlike the rest of the world at this time, what would you be fighting for? A king. You're not fighting for that. No. And then you're also fighting for Athenian education. He says that Athens is the best place in the world, not because we are awesome at war, which we are, he emphasizes. We are. We've proven that in previous wars. But also because we can be good at war and good with books. He says that we have knowledge without effeminacy. What does that mean? Knowledge without effeminacy. Without being weak, womanly, soft people. They still have abs. Maybe not as rippling as those of Sparta, but not bad, right? Not bad. All right, they can certainly win against Persia. All right, so he's saying if we can win against Persia, we can win against Sparta as well. He also says this is a war against poverty. Because you look at Athens, it's got the highest standard of living in Greece. And does that just help the aristos? Does that just help the wealthy? No. We've got gymnasiums and symposiums set up for all classes. Even the homeless guy on the street in Greece is doing better than the average homeless guy around the rest of the world, which is kind of what we can say about America today as well. You might recall we have the highest standard of living. We're doing pretty Well, right, even the poorest of the poor here is doing better than 3/4 of the globe. He's essentially saying that exact same thing 2,000 years ago. All right? And then he tells us we're fighting for democracy. He gives us a great quote. You must yourselves realize the power of Athens. Feed your eyes on her from day to day, till love of her fills your hearts. And then, when all her greatness shall break upon you, you must reflect that it was by courage, sense of duty, and a keen feeling of honor in action that men were enabled to win all this. What's he saying? What's he saying about Athens? It's cool. It's the best. Is it worth dying for? Yes, it is. All right, you look at all the advances they've made in a short amount of time. You look at some of those frieze. Remember the frieze that we learned about yesterday when we were watching the video? What was the frieze? The Athenian frieze in the Parthenon. Good. 2 inches thick, and you can see all of these average Joes, all these everyday people that are heroes of Greece because they are Athenian and because they fight and serve their country. He's calling for them to keep doing that. All right, so next decision point for you. The year is 430, and you are Pericles. You've just delivered a stunning oration, and everyone is applauding you. And now that the war has broken out with Sparta officially, how do you plan to win the war against the fearful Spartan nemesis? 1, avoid a land battle and decide to hide behind the long walls, using your navy for raids in the Peloponnese. 2, use the navy for a lightning attack on the Spartan mainland while their army marches north to attack Athens. We heard they're on the way. Or 3, join forces with other Delian League states and attack the Spartan army at Plataea. What you do? What would you gentlemen do?
Us gents are going to go with option 1.
Option 1, avoid a land battle and hide behind the long walls. All right, what about you guys back there? 1, land battle.
Yeah.
All right, excuse me, avoid a land battle. Also, hide like sissies behind walls. You hiding like sissies behind walls? You're going to do 2. You're going to use the navy for a lightning attack on Sparta. What are you guys going to do? 1, hiding like sissies. Hiding like sissies. All right. Hey, smart sissies, though. You're right. Knowledge without effeminacy. You guys earned the sword back. Yeah. You guys lost your fights. All right. Good. So hey, it was a nice try. Honestly, it all could have worked. It all could have worked. Pericles had the authority to make this thing happen. It was going quite splendidly for a time, and then what happened? Oh man, plague struck. All right, so plague at this time was pretty awful. You've got 150,000 people. 150,000 people that are hiding. Last time we do this. Last time I hand out the lightsabers with any batteries in them. All right, so 150,000 people hiding behind these walls. Is there a lot of room to get away from all those nasty sick people? No. No. Do we know about germ theory? No. You know, if you guys peeing down river and you're still slurping, that's still okay in Greece. Okay? That's still okay. Hey, we got a dead guy with nasty pus. We'll just pick him up and move him. No big deal. He's dead, right? All right, so the plague was pretty awful. Thucydides, who survived all of this, gives us the following quote. It says, people in good health were all of a sudden attacked by violent heats in the head and redness and inflammation in the eyes, the inward parts, such as the throat or tongue, becoming bloody and emitting an unnatural and fetid breath. These symptoms were followed by sneezing and hoarseness, after which the pain soon reached the chest and produced a hard cough. Externally, the body was reddish, livid, and breaking out in small pustules and ulcers. They succumbed, as in most cases, on the 7th or 8th day, to the internal inflammation. But if they passed this stage, and the disease descended further into the bowels, inducing a violent ulceration, there accompanied by severe diarrhea. This brought on a weakness, which was generally fatal. The disorder settled in the privy parts, your privy parts. The fingers and toes, and many escaped with the loss of these, including the loss of the privy parts, the fingers, the toes, the tongue, or the eyes. All right, you might survive, but you may end up losing your privy parts or your eyes. Huh? It was plague. Yes, plague. Similar to the Black Death with some of the things they had, but not quite. It's a variant of
Do they
it.
know what it was?
They know it was something similar to the Black Death.
So did the strain then, is it gone?
It mutates.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
is
mutates
that
over time.
strain gone
As
now?
far as we know.
Probably not zombies.
Alright, so you heard it didn't go well. Heracles himself is going to die, as will much of the city. So it will significantly weaken the Athenians who are trying to fight here. So next, what do we got to do? Well, there's a new guy in town who wants to change things by 421. It's the Athenian and Spartan rivals realized that neither could achieve a decisive victory. Athens has the walls, right? But they don't have the people to keep fighting for very long. Sparta doesn't have the ships, but they've got the people to keep fighting. All right, so what they did is they agreed to the Peace of Nicaea. But now it is 415, only a few years, 6 years later, and you are the hard-drinking, extravagant philanderer, ladies man, Alcibiades. All right, so you've just received a request for help from a Greek settlement in Sicily called Egesta. They are at war with a Corinthian colony in Sicily called Syracuse, which is the wealthiest Greek city in the West Adriatic. What do you propose we do? Send a diplomatic envoy, seal an alliance, or send a fleet? Ready? Alright, let's see what you do. Let's just go number by number. How many of you would send a diplomatic envoy? Hands up. One. Alright, close your eyes. I don't want you to see who's putting up their hands here. You never know. Alright, eyes closed for the next vote. Who would do number 2? Seal an alliance with Egesta. Okay? Who would do number 3? Send a fleet of triremes. Alright, those of you that said number 3, you're right. Oh! Oh, bummer. Alright. So, they're going to send a huge force. Now, think of this. Lightsabers off. Think of this for a second. The kind of investment that's going into this thing. This is a ridiculous amount of their war supply going into one big attack. How do you think it's going to go? Well, we had a bad omen. We had a bad omen the night before they left, which they maybe should have been paying attention to. All right, they had these things in Athens called the Herms. All right, the Herms were these statues dedicated to Hermes, and they prominently displayed male phalluses on them. Okay, so that's what that is. All right, so these Herms were placed all over Athens as a celebration of Hermes, and said, hey, Hermes is looking after us. Hence, phallus, yay. All right, so one night someone just got drunk apparently because the night before the attack there was a drunken revelry, and suddenly in the morning a bunch of Herms were missing their phalluses. Someone had run around with a hammer and broken them off. All right, so many within the ecclesia interpreted this as, no, this is a bad idea. We have essentially been castrated the night before battle. You do not go to battle. And yet Alcibiades, the hard-drinking general, is going to propose to the ecclesia, it's nothing. That's a stupid omen. We're still going to go, and we're still going to fight. Right? So they'll go and they'll fight. without the Herms support here, without the phallic support, that's what I'm looking for, and they're going to attack. Now this is an amphibious invasion. Do you think the Syracusans were just not expecting it?
Oh,
I mean, they're the wealthiest Greek city-state in the West Adriatic. They're ready for this thing. They're waiting on the beachhead as the Greeks are coming up. So the the Athenians are going to hear a message, get a message from a runner who escapes from the first battle, telling them 6 months later, hey, we need supplies, we need manpower. It's been 6 months, it's been rough at sea, things are not going well. Send as many men as you can. And then they don't hear anything at all for several years. So here's a little video to show you what's going to happen next.
Then, in the autumn of 413 BC, a sailor arrived in the city. A man who needed a haircut. And as he talked to his barber, he told an appalling tale of a vast and terrible slaughter. It was the story of an invading army that had been pinned down where it landed, of how its leaders had argued with each other about strategy, of how their food and water had run out, of how they'd attempted to ford a great river in a desperate attempt to escape.
They rushed into it, all discipline lost, and every man wanting to cross first. They fell over each other and trod each other underfoot, and they drank thirstily. The water was foul. But still they went on drinking, mud, blood and all, the dead lying thick in the riverbed.
This was how the Athenians discovered that they had been the victims of one of the greatest defeats in ancient history. Over 50,000 men had been killed or taken prisoner. 2 entire fleets of Athens' prized triremes had been destroyed.
The Sicilian Campaign is a mess for a variety of reasons. First of all, it's a long way away. It's over 600 or 700 miles. Once they arrive, they squabble and fight about what to do. But perhaps the biggest problem is there's not a tactical reason to do it. There's not a strategic reason to do it. The motivation is highly self-interested. They believe that wrongly they could go quickly in, raise the countryside, and win a quick victory and a rich tributary subject state.
The Athenians, entranced by a vision of imperial glory, had in fact engaged in a pointless and vain campaign.
All right, so what was the mistake of the Sicilian campaign besides the fact that they lost?
Not listening to
All right, not listening to the divine omen, maybe. Drunk, died, taking off the herbs or not. Still, could have been seen as a sign, right? What else? Josie, you were going to say something?
I said they went.
They went in blindly, totally. 600 miles away, and they don't know what they're up against, except that they've heard it's an island nation. It's not like they've got these maps saying this is where we should attack, and they're not going to be there. They don't have intelligence to tell them where to attack either. What else? Other problems?
Fighting.
Yeah, so remember our discussion of Greek democracy. How do we get generals? How do we have generals? We elect them. They are smart. They seem like they know what they're doing. We're going to put them in power. Alright, that works out well sometimes with guys like Themistocles. Maybe not so well with guys like Alcibiades. Alright, after the failed Sicilian campaign, Alcibiades is going to defect to Sparta. He's going to go to the enemy and say, hey, I hate those stupid Athenians. Make me a general. Well, okay. So, does it not go well? Now, meanwhile, back in Athens, we've got some writers at the time that are starting to protest through comedy. They're satirizing the situation facing the war. Yes?
I thought in the reading that the Athenians actually exiled Alcibiades, and then
Perhaps after the fact, but
and then also it's been speculated
Yeah.
he got drunk one night and pulled off all the curtains.
and did the herbs, exactly. Yeah, and then convinced the ecclesia to still go, which is just silly. Yes, you're right. All right, so back in Athens, they are starting to satirize some of the things that are happening here. A guy by the name of Aristophanes, he was a master of comedy, and I can tell you that even 2,500 years later, roughly, if you read his plays today, I've read several of his, they're still quite funny. All right, my favorite is Lysistrata, and is very pertinent here because Lysistrata, you've read a little summary about her perhaps in the textbook. What does she decide to do? According to Aristophanes, it's play, mind you. But what does Lysistrata decide to do as a solution to this problem of the Peloponnesian War? How does she plan to end it as a woman in Athens? All right, Alex?
Sex strike.
Sex strike, exactly. Denies sexual relations to her husband. Now, mind you, her husband is off at war, right? As are most of these husbands. You'd think that wouldn't matter, but that's where the satire is so funny. Because all the women of Athens, she's going to get them on board to deny sexual relations of all kinds to any man. And that threat enough will be enough to convince these men after a week of denial. Oh no! We have to end this war now! I can't take it anymore! I heard the rumor! We gotta end this thing! Alright, so we get some funny quotes from it. Lysistrata is a bit of a saucy little mix. She tells us, we need only sit indoors with painted cheeks and meet our mates lightly clad in transparent gowns. They will get their... Yeah, and wild to lie with us. That will be the time to refuse, and they will hasten to make peace. I'm convinced of that. Okay, it's quite funny. There's worse. Trust me. You keep reading it. There's worse. All right, and then she gives us another saucy quote. I am a woman, and yes, I have brains. Ladies, follow that. Right? Okay. Fist bump Lysistrata. That's right. You can tattoo her somewhere on your shoulder. Yeah, that's cool. Alright, so I'm a woman, and yes, I have brains, and I'm pretty good in my judgment. My education hasn't been bad. It came from my listening often to the conversations of my father and the elders among men. She's telling this to a bunch of men who are like, what? You're gonna stop the war? You're a woman. Okay, so what is Aristophanes doing for us here? Is he trying to present to us a feminist critique of the world? Is he saying that women should be liberated from their, not enslavement, but, be given the vote, for instance? What's he doing here with this satire? Is Lysistrata some kind of crazy feminist liberator, or is she actually a conservative reactionary? What do you think? She's conservative. Yeah, she's saying, there are ideas that are not being listened to here, even amongst Greek males. Ideas that are not being listened to, that we should end this war. This is stupid. The Sicilian Campaign is going poorly. We've had multiple opportunities at a peace, and you can read about those in the textbook, of course. Multiple opportunities at a peace, and we haven't taken those. So why aren't we? What else? What do you think?
Well, isn't this like is that kind of like the first time for George Nolan?
I'm sorry, can you say that?
Is that the first time for George Nolan?
Yes,
So
we've heard about strong women in Greek culture already, right? Who am I thinking of? All right, so Spartan women come back with your shield or on it, and they are seen as citizens that can't vote again. All right, where else did we see in Greek literature? Penelope. All right, so, you said you're a who? Oh, Aspasia. Yeah, Aspasia, another formidable woman. She's a real one, unlike Penelope, who is Greek myth, basically. All right, Pandora. Okay. What was that? Sappho, yes, the poet. All right, so good. So Lysistrata is a fictional and comedic example of the power that women certainly should have, but at the same time, the ideas that should be listened to. All right, so taken from a woman's perspective, that makes it all the more funny, but also all the more reason to listen potentially. All right, so another decision point for you here. What would you do? The year is 407, and you are Lysander of Sparta. The war has dragged on for decades, and you want to find a solution to breaking this attritional stalemate. What do you propose we do? 1, send Alcibiades back to Athens to propose a peace. 2, accept money from the Persians. 3, send a massive invasion force. Think about it. Yes. So then you have 6, 7 money. blind vote here. All right, who would do number 1? Okay, who would do number 2? Accept money from the Persians. I should probably read this out in case you forgot. Okay, who would do number 3? Send a massive invasion force. All right, so everybody who's currently got a sword keeps it. Sorry, you're wrong again. The answer was 2. Accept money from the Persians. They will build the fleet. They will equalize the playing field. Well, more than equalize. They're going to overcome the Athenians in the battles to come. So, the return of tyranny, though, comes to Athens because we have this group of people called the 30 Tyrants. All right, so Lysander was the Spartan general who's going to finally defeat Athens in the Peloponnesian War. And so Lysander comes in and says, all right, now that we've beaten you, what do you have to do? What are they going to do to Athens? Establish basically an oligarchy of 30, right? So they're going to take these 30 tyrants who are anti-democratic. One of them happens to be a guy named Critias. What else is Critias famous for? He was one of Socrates' students, so he's a sophist, but what did he philosophize as well? He's famous on his own. For criticism of what? That's where we get the term criticism, or critical of religion. He was very critical of established religion. He's one of the guys that was leading people on the path of agnosticism, all right, and subjectivism. So Critias was critical of the faith, and so he comes in as a student of Socrates, like you said, to reestablish authority and get rid of democracy entirely. All right, and so another thing that's going to happen, though, too, is they're going to bring in tyrannicides, murder and plunder for the next 8 months, killing anybody that's still a fist-pumping Democrat, and there's still plenty of them out there. Another thing, though, too, what's going to happen to Athens' walls? They're going to be taken down. They will be destroyed temporarily. Give it a couple generations to be back, or a generation, excuse me. All right, and so there's going to be a democratic rebellion, though. The rebels in the streets of Athens are going, because I mean, think about it, it's an oligarchy. There's 30 of them. While they do have a lot of power, and while there are many that support them, you've got nearly 100,000 others that want to resist, and there's strength in numbers, so they're going to overthrow the 30 tyrants and bring in this rebellion bloodily in the streets. So how do we reestablish order? If you're in Athens right now, the democratic rebellion's killed many of the 30 tyrants, but not all of them. Taken out many of their supporters, but not all of them. Civil war is looming. What do? James, our intrepid, dauntless leader of Athens today, what would you do? How do you reestablish order?
I don't have much time to vote on another ruler, so maybe Athenian people select their own tyrant.
Do what?
Like select their own tyrant.
Alright, start selecting their own. What do you do with all those people that were opposed to you, though? Kill them! Oh, more tyrannicide and plunder? More murder and death? Well, yeah, not a bad idea. Actually, what they'll do is a proclamation of amnesty. Rather than taking the typical stance of, we're going to kill anyone who opposed to us and just keep this thing rolling further and further, they're going to offer the first amnesty in Western history, Western civilization history. All right, what's an amnesty? A pardon, exactly. So a pardon of anybody, whether you were on the 30 tyrant side or on the democratic side, you were all pardoned for whatever happened. So you murdered 30 people and their children? Oh well, we'll forgive you for now, just don't do it again, okay? Let's restore order. The Greeks love their order, right? Now, who's not going to be so lucky in that situation? Socrates. All right, there's going to be some scapegoating, and Socrates is going to take the fall for what happened. Poor Socrates. Now, we don't have time to get into the video. It's about a 6-minute clip. So, we'll do the death of Socrates tomorrow. Then we're going to go into the Aristotelian and Plato debate, and I'm hoping that if you have questions still on what we went through at the beginning of the class with the announcements, you can talk to me personally about that, and we can figure that out together. But I'm just going to roll with it tomorrow, get into the debate, and then start Alexander the Great. Sound good? And when is Alexander the Great debate due? Presumably. Friday. All right, I'm thinking we can get through everything. So Friday, at the end of class, is when we'll do that debate.